So I'm incredibly excited this morning. Have a very special conversation. We're obviously here in Chamonix, French Alps, the birthplace of HOKA, hanging out with the HOKA team before the UTMB. There's a lot of history in this race, in this brand, and we are going straight to the source this morning. I get a chance to talk to Nico, one of the co-founders of HOKA, and talk to him about the big idea and where he and his partners over 15 years ago together sort of in these mountains came up with the idea. So gonna ask him some questions as a shoe nerd, as a HOKA lover, as a recent French Alps convert, not very hard. I'm incredibly excited to talk to the man in this place at this time. So hopefully I don't mess it up. So I have a question. Did you grow up in this region, this area?
Yes, I did. My dad is from this region. He's from Les Contamines, which is the next valley over.
Okay.
It's literally like the first big stop on the UTMB route.
Oh, cool.
It's a very special aid station. I hope you can meet it. You can see it this evening. Look at that. This is the main street of Chamonix.
Yep.
And it's also where everybody finishes.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of mountain history here.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now we get close to the main plaza, and you have pretty much.
That's the best. That's the clearest Mont Blanc view we've had. Oh.
So.
And the cool thing about the UTMB, you mentioned most of the other races are a point to point, but UTMB will start here.
Oh yeah, UTMB is like, it's right there.
Yeah.
You start, you go straight, you turn right, and you come back from the left, like 20 hours, 40, 45 hours later.
Oh.
And that's very unique because it's because the area around Mont Blanc is fairly small. I mean, it's like in 100 miles, think about it. You go through 3 countries,
right?
9 towns, nine mountain towns. That's extremely special. See, I ran it like a few times. Like 2006, I thought I could finish in 100, like top 100 out of 2000. And after like 12 hours, I was like 4th. And I had no idea if I would win, if I would drop, if I would absolutely collapse.
Yeah.
And I took a little nap and I dropped to, I think, 9th, and I finished 8th. But it's also when we started thinking that Jean-Luc, my partner, co-founder of HOKA, was doing my crew. And
he was crewing those races?
He was my crew.
Yeah.
With another friend from here.
Wow.
And so we started thinking that maybe if the body had been better protected with the technology,
right,
it would have been possible to sustain and to remain efficient with my muscles longer. Right. So you can imagine that for HOKA, this lab, and these experiences before as adventure racers or runners were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And very inspiring, tough to do the testing, and also very quickly with the technology, we could feel that it was working. Honestly, in a week. Got the first prototypes, didn't do any first almost brute midsole, didn't do anything to them.
Yeah.
And could tell that it was faster downhill, could tell that it was not unstable.
Right.
And that when we were even running on the flat or uphill, it was smooth and rolling and bouncy.
Yeah.
And that literally happened extremely fast.
Yeah. It's been so, I like to consider myself, I love shoes. I'm a shoe nerd. I love running. I love brand story, obviously, what we do at Huckberry. And, it's amazing to get to see, experience, and really understand the entire HOKA story, its relationship to UTMB, but even more broadly, these mountains. And, something that, we were talking about yesterday that really resonated with me. And it's something that you see all the way through now, 15 years later. But, you referenced some of those first UTMB runs.
Yes.
Those insights are really what led to, and then I'm sure the experiences you guys had before in other sports and other activities.
Yes.
But
Yes.
like that idea of building it for you. You guys were not looking to build a shoe company for where we are now, but it was for those particular reasons, those immediate insights and feelings running down a mountain.
I went in the US to a lot of Warren Miller ski movies.
Yeah.
The famous guy who started in his car in Mammoth.
Legendary.
And then the first one I went, I was really young, and he did an opening speech, and he said, "My life is driven by freedom, adrenaline, and passion, and that's it, you know." And then if you think about whether it's like skiing, running, or like just living in this environment and sharing it with friends and people, I mean, you have these three components. People, when it comes to running, they don't think that much about adrenaline because you normally, you know, it seems to be like a slow sport. But when you are running downhill, and when it gets also sketchy, because sometimes you're running super like rugged terrain, and sometimes you look and you think, if I fall here, I might, you know, like break a wrist or something. And sometimes you're like, okay, if I fall here, it's over.
I'm done.
Because, you know, the trails are carved for workout like a few centuries ago, not for people who want to have fun mountain biking. They were carved for people to go across valley.
Point to point.
And go home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some are really sketchy. So there is this dimension of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Passion, I don't need to describe, because I think we all spent our life, like either Jean-Luc or myself, we spent our life in the mountain.
Mountains, yeah.
And freedom is what comes like as soon as you do one step out of your house in this kind of environment.
Yeah. So the word authenticity can get thrown around pretty loosely these days with friends.
We don't mess around with this word.
Yeah, you guys do it. I mean, that's like,
Yes.
you're building something for,
Yes.
again, for you guys and those insights running down mountains.
Yes.
That feeling of like freedom in flying now represents, you know, your sort of tagline, but all of it comes back to like this place and what
But
you guys
quickly,
were doing.
very quickly, we didn't want it to be like too niche and downhill and flying. And the second big idea was to bring this spirit and this feeling to a very broad amount of runners who are more on the road, who are more joggers, some racers, marathon racers, and so on. So there was like some kind of a mission to bring it, to take it to the world, you know, and that's why we became successful with the road shoes, like pretty.
I mean, my first shoe was the Bondi.
Yeah.
It was a road shoe.
That was the first. That was a big deal.
Yeah, and then
That was the first like HOKA road shoe. It was a little bit lower than the Mafate.
Yeah.
And it's what's put us on the map.
Yeah. Seeing the dots, like we were obviously in the HOKA booths now. You didn't even have shoes to market, but brought your first prototype.
Yeah, I mean, so it was like a time race, you know. We were like, okay, we're not ready. We haven't seen any press. We haven't seen any dealers. We are not really ready to launch, but let's show our product and create a buzz with the consumers. And let's pick the most hardcore runners in the world. The people who are about to line up for this 100 miles race and 100K, because there was also CCC. So, like literally 5 days before the race, I called my friends who run the UTMB and I asked for a small chalet. They found one for us. It was very kind because, of course, it was full. And we came with like 30 pairs. So we exposed the shoes. We had people try them. And some decided to go run with the shoe.
That's what I heard, which is pretty wild to think how much people train, and the gear is such a foundational piece. And 5 days before, they switched their foot.
Well, a day before.
Day before. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, you also have to realize that the feel was incredibly spectacular. They literally felt like performance slippers, which would protect you and make your ride like absolutely different.
It's cool. I mean, that sort of, again, like the connection to you guys building it with your insights, building it for you, then you bring it to a small community who they are you guys in
Yeah.
sort of their shared interests, and
Yeah.
that validation, like that's still the DNA.
Yeah.
And it's cool to, it's got to be amazing to fast forward, like sitting here above all of this.
I don't think it's over. I mean, I still have like, a few ideas. I think there's other areas where it's possible to really like disrupt and break out of the rules.
Yeah.
Yes.